If you're looking for the latest tools, technologies, tips and case studies about integrating live streaming into your communications, your marketing, employee engagement programs, or even crisis management programs, that's what we cover every single week on the Livestream Insiders show. My name's Krishna. I'm one of the co-hosts of Livestream Insiders, and you can join us live on Facebook at 7 p.m. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Livestream Insiders page, where we cover all of the tips in around 30 minutes. However, today what I want to do is give you a quick summary of the news that was covered in the episode for the 11th of June 2017. This week's episode had a lot of Facebook news and also Facebook case studies. The first thing we talked about was the fact that you can actually now integrate closed captioning onto your live streams on Facebook. You might be aware that for the last number of months we've been able to upload captions after a live video has finished. However, it wasn't until this week that actually that captioning could be done in real time. This is really important in terms of accessibility and making the platform, in terms of the live video that's taking place there, more accessible to people who have got hearing problems. But it also has some benefits for those of us who actually scroll through the news feed and don't turn on the audio, because much of the content that's on video on Facebook is actually watched without the audio being turned on. If you want to know how to do this, you can do so through the Live API. Head over to krishna.me and you'll find an article there with details about how to do so, and also details of a provider. So there will be providers who can provide live captioning in real time for you. The first case study that I covered on Livestream Insiders this week was around the use of live video on Facebook by BuzzFeed related to the general election. You will know that Facebook Live has been used a lot by BuzzFeed, and you might recall the particular stream that they did with the exploding watermelon. In the story on Livestream Insiders this week, I talk about the two different kinds of streams that they did and what they actually learned from that experience. So if you were covering politics this week in terms of on the issue of the general election in the UK, that was just one of the examples of a publisher who was using live video. Perhaps you were doing so too. Head on over to the Livestream Insiders to get the full details, and also you'll be able to find the link at krishna.me for the related case study that I covered here. Livestream Insiders has been streaming for about 2 years now, and over that time we've had some really interesting case studies, including exploring how live video can be used for education, for example, medical students, but also awareness and education of people who've got particular conditions in terms of medical causes. That's the story that I actually covered this week, which is about a cancer patient who, in collaboration with the hospital where she's receiving chemotherapy treatment, actually did a live stream, which went on for over an hour. And in that time, she answered questions that people had from the audience. She did this because she's going into her 56th treatment for chemotherapy, and she realized personally that she had lots of questions and she wanted to have them addressed at the time. And so she happens to be a physician herself, but she actually did this as a patient. And so she was covering all the questions that people were asking and giving some really, really helpful tips. So perhaps it's something that you're interested in terms of thinking about how you could use live video in terms of extending reach and giving great education to people, perhaps from your community, your hospital, your clinic. Check out this case study that we covered on Livestream Insiders this week. One of the questions that you may have if you're organising an event is, will live video support or detract from that event? That clearly is a question that the conference organiser and event organiser TED had. And you might be aware that they have an annual conference. It took place a month or so ago, and the tickets to attend that are about $10,000. But their strapline is about ideas worth sharing. And so what they want to do is they didn't want exclusivity around the event. So it was a really interesting example of actually how live video that was being done at the same time as the main conference would actually help them get those messages and get them out and to be shared and make people aware of them. And so learn about that case study from this week's episode on Livestream Insiders. In your organization, you may well get questions about, should we be doing live video versus pre-recorded video? That's the question that the organization Brand Live looked to address. They had a launch of their product earlier on this year, and what they did is they took an opportunity to do a pre-recorded video and also a live video. In the story that I cover on Livestream Insiders, I go through what their learnings were, including what the costs were and actually the time to prepare those two different videos. In summary, though, the conclusion was from them, and I would certainly agree with this, it's not about only doing live or only doing recorded. It's about working out what's the right solution for your communication goals. And so a combination of live and also pre-recorded video is definitely the things that you should be looking at for 2017 for success for your marketing communications. The final tip this week that I covered in the show was about the fact that live audio on Facebook is now rolling out to more Android users. It's not yet available for iOS and it's not available on desktop. You might recall that this was a story we covered last December when it was first announced that live audio was being made available to some publishers. And Facebook at the time said that this was because not everybody wants to have a video when they're streaming, but also there might be some places in the world that actually it might be too costly or doesn't have great data coverage. And so in terms of that situation, audio was the best solution. So I've been watching with interest as people in my network seem to have had access to live audio for the last couple of months, a few people in the US that I know of, and I this week got access to it. If you're interested in actually the differences between what you need to know about publishing live audio on your Facebook profile versus your Facebook page, I've got a very extensive tutorial which you'll find over on my site, krishna.me. I should also add that live audio is also available to actually use on event pages and also on groups if you've got permission to post live streams into groups that you're members of, or of course you will have permission for any groups that you happen to manage. I hope you found this a useful summary of actually what we covered in the Livestream Insiders this week. If you're interested in joining us in real time, we're on our Livestream Insiders page on Facebook every Sunday at 7 p.m. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. The show is about 30 minutes long. But I wanted to give you a summary of what we covered this last week. And therefore, if you're interested in learning more, you can find the replay over on Livestream Insiders or come over to krishna.me and you'll be able to get access to the notes from the show as well. And if you've got questions about integrating live streaming, be that live video or live audio, into your communications plans, your employee engagement plans, your awareness campaigns, your marketing campaigns, your social selling opportunities, or in fact employee engagement, or for crisis management, please don't hesitate to ask me the questions. Of course, you can reach me on many social media platforms, but if you want to have some time one-to-one with me, you can access my calendar, go to krishna.me/meeting, and we'll get you moving in terms of how you can take the right choice about the right platform and the right solutions for you in terms of using live communications as part of your marketing and communications plan.